Hey, thanks for joining me for another episode of Cartridges and Coffee. I'm Brentendo64, and with this year's E3 now behind us, I'm going to be giving you a retrospect of the event. However, this year's E3, as E3 typically is, was loaded with game announcements, reveals, and tons of gameplay footage, and because of that, it'd be impossible to cover it all. Instead, I'm going to be giving you a list of 10 things that I'm most excited for after seeing this year's E3. And I know you're thinking, oh, how cliche, a list. And believe me, I agree with you. But, you know, lists are what people want to see. Let's face the facts. And I got to give the people what they want. So, you're getting a list. Let's blow this cartridge. Okay, first of all, this list is going to make it incredibly clear that I'm a total Nintendo fanboy. So let's just get that out there from the beginning. The Nintendo press conference is what I anticipate most every June, and this E3 was no different. I knew we were going to see Animal Crossing this year, and yet I was still pleasantly surprised with the gameplay we got to see. Animal Crossing looks as good as it ever has, and I'm glad to see that we're finally getting a proper home console release, not that happy home developer crap that we got last time. What do you know, Nintendo again. Honestly, this one caught me by surprise. Once Hero from Dragon Quest was revealed, I thought we had heard all we had to hear about new Smash DLC, at least for the remainder of the press conference. However, Nintendo hit us with an epic reveal right at the end, reminiscent of that King K. Rool reveal last year. And I was super excited to hear that Nintendo had listened to their fans about what character they wanted to see next. And honestly, this just makes me more excited about who else we could see in Super Smash Bros. In the future.
I'll give you some parting advice. Your power.
As you may recall, Astral Chain was announced a few months ago, and as soon as I saw that gameplay trailer, I was stoked. The game is being developed by Platinum Games, who previously developed Nier Automata, which I have not gotten the chance to play, but I've heard many great things about it. And I'm excited to see that I have the opportunity to play a game by Platinum Games on my Nintendo Switch.
Honestly, I don't think your Kung Fu is strong enough.
Grandmaster,
What do you know? A non-Nintendo addition to this list. I am a huge Shenmue fan. I love every aspect of the first two games, even that forklift racing part that everyone seems to kind of be torn about because the controls are absolute garbage. But when I first played Shenmue on the Sega Dreamcast, I loved the open world, the whole free aspect of the game, and I loved that every character in the game had independently functioning schedules and relationships. At the time, there was really nothing like it. And while the first two games may not have aged gracefully, I believe that they have maintained every bit of charm that they've ever had. And the new entry looks to be inheriting all of that charm, with the added bonus of refined graphics, mechanics, and hopefully reworked control system, because the old one was garbage. I still wish it were being released on the Switch, and I don't really understand why it's not being released on the Xbox One if it's being released on the PC. But that's neither here nor there. I'll take what I can get, I guess. Okay, first of all, if you didn't get the chance to watch that limited run press conference, I highly suggest you go look it up now. It was incredibly unique and it had a low budget charm to it. They kicked off their virtual press conference by announcing a physical version of one of my favorite indie games of all time, Night in the Woods. I knew the day would come that they'd give us a physical release of the game, and I was excited to see that day was this year at E3.
You and me are friends, right? You gotta help me.
This one is another physical release by Limited Run Games, but perhaps a bit more obscure. Double Switch is an interactive movie game from the Sega CD era, and it's literally one of the most 90s things you will ever see, and it's awesome. On top of that, it has a super cool science fiction B-movie vibe. I missed my chance to grab the Night Trap physical release on the Switch, so I'm excited to have the opportunity to buy another interactive movie game. Because honestly, as weird and awkward as they are, I love interactive movie games from the Sega CD era. Speaking of physical releases, Special Reserve Games announced that they're going to be releasing Gris in physical format on the Nintendo Switch. And if you haven't played nor seen Gris gameplay, do yourself a favor and look at the screen right now. Gris released at the very end of last year, and it is one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. I haven't got the chance to play it myself because I've been holding out for the physical release, but I've heard nothing but good things about it, so I'm excited to see that I won't have to wait very much longer to get my hands on it.
Trust.
I have to admit that I don't really enjoy most of the recent Star Wars releases, like Battlefront 1 and 2, but I do love Force Unleashed, Knights of the Old Republic, Pod Racers, and a ton predating the current generation. However, this game looks badass. Electronic Antichrist, also known as EA, streamed 13 minutes of gameplay footage, so you should go check it out on the YouTube channel if you haven't already. So far, there are no signs of microtransactions, and I hope it stays that way, but we got a ways to go, so let's just cross our fingers.
Oh shit!
I am a huge horror movie fan, especially the Blair Witch Project, and I always thought that the found footage element would work really well in a game. So it's cool to see that they're implementing something like that in this game. And it actually also looked genuinely scary, which is obviously one of the most important aspects of a horror-themed game.
Wake the f up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
Okay, so we all already knew this game was in development, and gameplay footage already exists, but to top off what was already a highly anticipated and promising looking game, they put Keanu freaking Reeves in the game. And then, to put a chocolate-covered cherry on top of it all, they actually had Keanu Reeves walk onto the stage. I was already hyped about this game, but this moment really pushed my excitement for it to another level. Anyway, I am just about out of coffee, aka water, because this is all a facade and I'm a hack. But if you'd like to share your favorite moments of this year's E3, start a discussion down below and we will continue this conversation in the comments. Once again, thank you for joining me for a cup of coffee, aka water. I'm Brantendo64. Let's blow this cartridge.
Hey, you very good.